I think the problem here is obvious, and that is we do not have a Trump Justice Department. We have a hijacked Justice Department dominated by Obama holdovers working closely with Rod Rosenstein, the liberal Republican former U.S. attorney from Maryland, whose political patron in the Trump administration is, believe it or not, Elijah Cummings. This is the skunk who has given us a special prosecutor to look into Russian collusion when no evidence whatsoever of any crime or Russian collusion exists. And he is the one who thwarts any effort to hold the establishment types responsible for their actions.
By the way, we knew that Trump was going to greenlight going after the pedophile networks. He tweeted that years ago. And Newsweek asked, why are we obsessed with pedophiles? We're not obsessed with it. Hollywood and the globalists and the elites and the British royalty keep getting caught, including killing little kids. And we told you this dam was going to break. Now, in the hysteria, there's going to be some people who are going to make false accusations. But a lot of them are going to be real. And I'm not saying what's true and what isn't. But with Harvey Weinstein and others, it'd been reported for a long time he was basically raping women. I've known Charlie Sheen and his dad and his brother. That's how I met him, was through Emilio Estevez. And, you know, he's been pretty wild and, you know, partying. I haven't hung out with him in years because I don't, you know, do drugs and things like that. But Charlie was always a gentleman and nice to the women I was around. I never saw any gay stuff or any pedophile stuff. But here it is. Friends of Corey Haim say he accuses Charlie Sheen of rape, of sodomizing him when he was 13. Then he wanted to have sex with Sheen again, allegedly, and Sheen was cold and said no to him. I'm not saying these reports are wrong. I'm also saying, no, you have to look when things like this unfold, just like with Pizzagate, where you have this huge thing confirmed in New York and the Aleister Crowley stuff and all the rest of it, then they focus the media over on this as a rabbit trail to get people off. And I'm not saying that's happening here. I'm just saying I never saw any signs of this or any evidence of this with Charlie Sheen. But, again, I haven't really, I guess I was there with my wife before we got married. I had dinner with him about 2 years ago, and he seemed really in a bad place, and we just left. But I didn't see, other than him being angry, about the media line about him. I think that was it. But I don't want to, you know, get into stuff like this. But I'm reporting on all of it. So I know Charlie Sheen, and I've been friends with him like 12 years off and on, and because he's politically involved. And so I'm going to report on the interest of the fact that I've been reporting on all the rest of it.
Well, I mean, how long have we been talking about corruption in Hollywood and MK Ultra and the programs and the behind-the-scenes pedophilia stuff that goes on? And we've gotten reports of what goes on at the secret locations in Malibu and throughout Los Angeles.
I was about to say, Charlie's the guy that told me about bad stuff and how there was Satanism and really going after the Scientologists and things. That he was the guy telling me how bad it was and exposing it, not the other way around. So I think we should really look into this.
Yeah, I mean, now you're starting to see the exposure coming to fruition. I mean, this is not a joke. I mean, you have people coming forward. You have, you know, police agencies looking into it. You had WikiLeaks, you know, with the Podesta emails. I mean, who knows how deep this is going to go. But, you know, the good news is the truth is actually coming out. And we're seeing that in a lot of different areas right now. And
sure.
It's a really good time right now to be alive and to see the things that you've known about that are being exposed.
What do you think of Corey Feldman? I think he's very articulate and very well spoken on these shows. I think he comes across pretty credible.
Yeah, I do. I agree. He comes across pretty credible, and, you know, time will tell how this whole thing pans out. But I guarantee you a lot of people are nervous right now, and it goes a lot deeper than Hollywood. It goes into a lot of the political arena, and I think a lot of people are running scared right now, senators, high-level officials.
By the way, we ought to find that clip of him on Dr. Oz yesterday. Or it was Dr. Oz, or was it Dr. Phil? I just heard about it earlier in my ear, that he went on and called and filed a complaint on air with the
Los Angeles Police Department. Yeah, I heard.
All right, let's go to some calls. I've been really bad here. I apologize. Roger Stone's riding a shotgun, about to take over in the next 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and talk to Kevin in Florida. You're on the air.
Thank you so much, Alex, for taking my call. I just wanted to say I'm a huge Trump supporter, voted for him. But the one thing I think that he's trying to drop the ball on is the whole indicting any of these criminal politicians. Maybe Roger could elaborate on that, of why that hasn't been done. I think it's not necessarily that somebody gets convicted. I think it's more or less that the majority of the people know that the rules don't apply to everyone, including the political elite. And I think that maybe the indictment of one of these politicians, pick your poison of who you think he can indict, could maybe change that perception. I don't know. I just wanted to get your take on that.
That's a good question, Dr. Group. Mr. Stone?
I'll let Mr. Stone answer that one. He's got the inside connects on that answer.
I think the problem here is obvious, and that is we do not have a Trump Justice Department. We have a hijacked Justice Department dominated by Obama holdovers working closely with Rod Rosenstein, the liberal Republican former U.S. attorney from Maryland, whose political patron in the Trump administration is, believe it or not, Elijah Cummings. This is the skunk who has given us a special prosecutor to look into Russian collusion when no evidence whatsoever of any crime or Russian collusion exists. And he is the one who thwarts any effort to hold the establishment types responsible for their actions. I mean, look, in both the BCCI scandal and later in the biggest financial swindle of all time, the mortgage meltdown, no banker, no rich person, no one went to jail. Robert Mueller would conveniently arrange for you to pay.
Sure, Robert Mueller is as dirty as a public toilet. So why is he still in power?
Well, because I think the American people don't know this guy's pedigree and his track record, whether it is smuggling bin Laden relatives out of the country the day after 9/11, or whether it is calling off the investigation into foreign nationals.
But isn't Trump going after their back door with the takeout of the Wahhabist and the Clintons and the Bushes inside pals, funneling their Saudi Arabian money in to prop up the New World Order? I mean, isn't Trump really delivering when he dynamites their operations?
Oh, there's no question. And I think the net results of these tumultuous changes in Saudi are going to be good for the United States. Prince bin Salman is not soft on Iran. He is not soft on radical terrorism. Now, I have many, many, many criticisms of the Saudi state.
Sure, but this is a shift in the right direction.
Well, they play a double game. We know that in our dealings with them. But right now we have a more tenuous common enemy, nuclear Iran, because those people are lunatics.
Well, I think what Trump's saying is no more double games.
And look, he's going to ultimately hold the Saudis accountable, and they have some explaining to do. But in essence, what the young prince has done is gotten rid of the Bush-era allies who sucked up millions in fraud and
the main prince that was against Trump funding the Democrats. Oh, he's in jail now.
Yep.
Oh, thank you, Kevin.
The bologna sandwiches in there are really good, Al Weed, really good.
Let's talk to Barry in San Francisco. Thanks for holding.
Thanks for your time here, Alex. AT&T is about to purchase Time Warner, big mistake, and it ties into whether you have the courage to go with LennonMurderedTruth.com or not.
Sir, I don't know what you're talking about.
LennonMurderedTruth.com exposes Time and Newsweek. Newsweek, by the way, selling off half their operation now, as carriers of government codes in the headlines, all about John Lennon's murder.
Okay, listen, whatever you're smoking, I want some of it.
Yeah, I like it. John Lennon's murder. We're cooking now.
I'm not. Okay, I think John Lennon was murdered. And I think the government was involved. They have, like, Strom Thurmond's signature saying, get rid of this son of a, you know what, because they didn't like him. Because John Lennon was really waking up to population control. He was writing albums about Satanists in government. I'm not at liberty to get into it. But I have talked to the family. They contacted me years ago, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Yoko Ono or Sean Lennon. I'm just going to leave. I've never said that till today, but I mean, they...
Well, Alex, interestingly, the security guard at the Dakota, where he was gunned down, was there for 2 months and then left. Strange that he worked for the Central Intelligence Agency in the Bay of Pigs operation, and he appears to have gone back on the government payroll. He just happened to be the doorman at the time of John Lennon's murder. How interesting.
Yeah, so you say, do I have the courage, Barry? I mean, I reviewed the people, what is it, the government versus John Lennon, the film. I mean, I've been all over that. Yeah. Okay,
but thank you for your call.
I'm going to admit it. I killed John Lennon. I think I was like 6 years old, but I remember my mother crying. I mean, bawling.
That's almost the only thing that Mueller left out of his indictment of Mueller. He should have indicted him for killing John Lennon as well. It would be just as ridiculous as the charges he did bring.
The callers like, you have the courage to expose they killed John Lennon. I'm like, well, of course I don't know. It's crazy. Dr. Group, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me on.
Great job. You got 50% off. A lot of the products and free shipping. That's the biggest deals we've ever done right there.
Those are some great deals for your health.
We need folks to really take advantage of this.
Coming up, and try not to gain too much weight over the holidays. Eat healthy.
You look great, by the way. I can't wait till this documentary comes out about how you fasted for 18 days on only water. Roger Stone's coming up with Owen Shore and more on the War Room. Spread the links to these live shows. That's how we get around the censors. They hope you don't.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfowarsStore.com.